Your mental health matters more than you think. So the past couple of weeks, my mind was pretty off. I was having all these intrusive thoughts in my head in which I came to a point that I was spending almost hours every day. Fucking fine. I was spending hours every day to actually prove these thoughts that they are not real, they are not me, they do not show anything about my reality and stuff. And I was mentally at a very bad place. And what I noticed is that when I was in this state, I wasn't only feeling low, but I also was performing really bad in my everyday tasks as well. Like, I didn't want to do any of the things that I needed to do. Like, I didn't want to go training. I didn't want to study for my classes. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to work. I didn't even want to go out at a point. I mean, because my mind was always occupied by these thoughts, and I was constantly trying to fight them. I was constantly trying to prove myself that those thoughts are not me. And now I have started recovering from this state of, you can say depression, you can say anxiety, you can say just a bad mental state. I started recovering from this state and feeling more positive overall, and I can't tell you the difference. Like, I can't explain you how different I feel and how different I perform since I started getting better. Even my YouTube, man. I'm always able to think about new stuff to record on, because I live a very fulfilled life, and I most of the times have something to talk about. But when I was constantly occupied by these worries, by these intrusive thoughts, I couldn't really think of any idea to record a video on. And when I went out with my friends, I felt the same. I couldn't really talk about anything because I wasn't there. I wasn't actually there, being present, talking. I was constantly spending time on my own head, and it was really destroying me. But when I kind of got a little bit better, the ideas just started flowing very well. I started performing better at my studies. I mean, my marks are always good. My marks have not dropped, but I was able to study more efficiently, let's say. And now I'm enjoying the times that I spend with my friends more, with my girlfriend more. And yeah, it's actually way more important than we think. And how did I got here in the first place? I think the main reason that I got here was that I was constantly on the performance mode. In everything that I was doing on my life, I was performing. And it came to a point that I also kind of started performing on my relationships as well. Like, with people that I'm with, I kind of thought the same as I would think in an exam. Like, you study harder, you get a good mark. And I was kind of thinking the same with people as well. The more I try to become a perfect version of myself, they will like me more. And of course, I'm not saying this to mean that you shouldn't improve yourself or you should not try to make yourself a better person, but you should not be doing this while you're with those other people. Like, when you're with other people, you usually present yourself as you are. You are not really building yourself up while you're with those people. I mean, you can of course learn things from those people as well, but when you're building yourself up, you're doing it without them. You're building yourself up on your own, and then when you go to that people after you build yourself up, you don't have to act, or you don't have to try to be like someone else, because you already became that version of you that you wanted to become. And I was in this performance state all the time, and it kind of drained me because I was trying to perform in everything that I was doing, like from my daily activities to my main tasks. I was always in this performance mode, and that kind of drained me. And I ended up in a place where I did not want to do anything. Everything felt like a burden to me. And how I got out of this state was just, I got out of my head. Because in the times where I felt drained and in the times where I felt mentally worse, let's say, I'm not at the 100% yet that I was back then. I'm not like fully healed from that period, but I'm doing better at least. I got out of my head. That was the solution for me. And that's the basis of all of the mindfulness activities, basically, like to get you back into get you back into present. That's what all the mindfulness activities are based on. That's the main idea, to get you into the real world, the present world. And I managed to get out of my head finally. But of course, I tried to meditate, I tried to journal, I tried to reflect. That's how I actually got to the solution in the first place. But my kind of mental problem is the intrusive thoughts. And probably most of you like experience the same thing. I think about certain things that I think about, and I kind of get into this worry loop about that thought or about that feeling or about that memory that I used to have, and constantly try to solve it in my head. Like, when I went there, did I actually want something else? Like, when I went to the school, or when I go to the school, for example, like, and question myself, do you really want to study in this medical career or stuff? And then I start digging deeper into that thought and like, do you actually want this career, or you're just pretending that you want it? Or you thought like this, does this actually mean that, does this reinforce the idea that you actually don't like medical school? Wait, why am I even thinking like this, or why am I even arguing this? Do I have some kind of a problem? You get what I mean? I got into these stupid mental loops and I was trying to solve the thought and the next and the next. And because I was feeding the thoughts, I was engaging with them, the more of it was coming to me. Because the brain is really good at giving you something that you engage with. Because it wants engagement, it wants you to be happy with what you're thinking. And that engagement with the thoughts kind of reinforces your brain to think like it's doing something good, because you're engaging with the thoughts that it gives you. So it gives you more thoughts, it gives you more worries, it gives you more questions in your head, and some what ifs and some stupid stuff that you think about. And I was constantly doing this. And I just, after doing tons of reflection and some mindfulness habits and stuff, I just taught myself like, I can just let it be. Like, I can just let that thought or let that worry sit for a second. I can just say that, I see you, you're there, but I don't want to engage with you right now. Like, I will engage with you maybe an hour later, but most of the times I forget it in like 5 minutes. And I noticed this pattern that I could, and I noticed that I could actually break it. And whenever a thought came into my head, of course, I'm still in the process of learning it properly so that this becomes my new normal, because my normal was that I got into these mental loops and I was being lost in them. But now I actually understood that I can break the pattern and actually be okay. I can think about a stupid or a disturbing thought and let it be there, and I can still be okay. Because that thought is not me. Or that reflection of a memory, I don't have to reshape my memory. I don't have to engage with it. Like, I can just let it be. I don't have to worry about it. And if I let it be, it disappears. It goes away, and in 20 minutes, I don't even remember what that is. But if I try to solve it, the best case scenario, I will solve that thought and another one will come. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, I will not be able to solve the thought. I will worry about it, and I will now worry about solving the thought, and I'm not able to solve it. And now I will start to ask more questions, and then I will start worrying about the time that I'm losing to solve this thought, and the thought will win, and I will never actually solve it. And in turn, in the final part, I haven't solved it, and the worst case, I actually lost a lot of valuable time trying to solve it, but I wasn't able to solve it. So it will be a lose-lose situation. That's the worst case scenario. But when I don't engage, maybe the thought lingers a bit, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, maybe even half an hour, that lingers, and I kind of feel this unease on my stomach, and my head sometimes ask those questions like, you should maybe check it, or maybe you should do something about that thought. But when I don't engage it finally disappears. And the more I started doing this, the more I stopped engaging with them, the less that they started coming. I actually managed to get out of my head. And yeah, now I actually understand how valuable it is to keep your mental health and mental space proper. Like, this is one of the most important aspects of life. We do all this dwelling on physical health and looks and money and success, but we never talk as deeply about the mental health and our psychologies, because probably 9 out of 10 people watching this video experience similar problems, experience similar issues. It's far more common than we think, and nobody talks about it enough. So that's something to keep in mind, and maybe we should start talking about these a bit more, because I believe a lot of people do need it. I will catch you on the next one.